And you are watching Headlines Today.
These are the first pictures from inside the controversial Commonwealth Games village. Waterlogged, strewn with debris. This is the House of Horrors. Staircases stained with red barn spit. These houses are so filthy that even you and I wouldn't stay there. And Kalmadi and company now want the world's top. Repulsed by the mess, athletes are pulling out in large numbers. CWG nations have read out the riot act to India. Get your act right or else. The sword of Damocles hangs above us. Will the games happen? And if so, how? That's our top focus on Center Stage tonight. He called off. It's better to be embarrassed once and be done with it internationally than to face the spectre of embarrassment for 15 continuous days as tiles fall off, ceilings come off, there are holes in the ground. Should we just call off the Commonwealth Games? That's the big Center Stage face-off question. I'm honored to be joined tonight by Murad Ali Khan, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, ace shooter, joining us in the studio tonight. Also, we've got Sanjay Kaul, spokesperson of the BJP, Dunu Roy, a leading urban development planner, one of the leading experts on the Commonwealth Games and everything that's going wrong. William Dalrymple, for an international perspective, joins us. Also, the Lochan Singh, chairperson of the media committee of the Commonwealth Games, back. There will be some commotion for 2 days, but after that it dies down. You call all these athletes in, and then we're the laughing stock for.
Okay, because it's one thing to be screwing up like this, but it's quite another because it'll be unprecedented if anything of the sort happens. Calling off the games is a no-no. We've invested too much money in terms of let's say resources, in terms of money, but also in terms of prestige, honor, etc. So I can only hope that this government gets its act together and that we are able to host it decently well. But I do agree with your fundamental proposal, which was that I think this government, in trying to plan these games, has bitten off more than it could chew. But I think the reasons have to be understood. The reason was to try and sort of stun us or try and out-Beijing them. I think that was really where it all started going wrong.
Oh, we haven't been able to out.
Respecting Indian would like to read the papers these days. Frankly, every day is a new horror story. And it doesn't only tarnish the image, it actually the self-confidence of the country in terms of managing these things or in terms of managing events like this. And look at the response of, say, the other countries. I mean, you just had a TV camera crew from Australia just pick up whatever you wanted and blow up whatever you wanted, literally. So this is also serious because it sends sort of signals about a capacity to actually govern. And coming back to Mr. Dalrymple's last point, which is and which you contradicted correctly, I thought, it's not just the fact that it's government. The question is leadership. Somebody mentioned that we pulled off the last Asiad rather well. That just puts it into context. If you have poor leadership, the best resources and materials would not help you. And that is why I'm saying you look at the way the Congress refuses to engage with the people except in small bites, which are mostly insensitive and insulting. And you look at the way the CM has shifted stance day after day. There is absolutely no accountability at the level of the state or at the level of even, say, the Minister of Union Development. Look at his statements yesterday. And this is what is making it become a bigger joke than it were. So the sincerity is missing. The self-correction mechanisms are not there. Above all, this bluster in the face of such embarrassment is actually shocking.
Murad, I want you to look at the Games Village in India, the Games Village in China. The Games in China happen in November. Murad, if I come in,
yeah, I'd say that these are of course symptoms of the real problems. This begs the question: why is it that China was able to do it? Why is it that London is prepared for the Olympics almost a year in advance? Why are the same principle applied everywhere else working except for us? So, and Dunu's talked about speed and basically delayed sort of schedules. You have to understand that there's a conspiracy at play here, and this has been brought to the attention of people repeatedly by my party. You know that you have X number of years to plan. You do not plan for the first 60% of the time. You do nothing. For the next 40% of the time, you rush through everything. You heard about this particular bridge that has fallen off being cleared by a group of ministers. The administrative machinery is actually they just pass it by. It creates a completely new format for governance or systems or processes which are not due diligent. Why did they delay? Who's responsible? And I'm sorry, and I agree with him, just nobody's responsible. It's as if this is an act of God.
Our panelists are shaking their heads in disbelief. They want to react to what the Chief Minister is saying. Sanjay, I'll start with you.
I think this is the most atrocious piece of conversation anybody sort of recorded for a long time. This is a Chief Minister who tells you that rooms look shabby when they're not occupied. That means all hotel rooms basically look shabby. This is a Chief Minister who says we are depending on God because God willing we'll have good games. She doesn't think the bridge breaking down is a big deal. It was not even supposed to be there. I would argue, and my friend Dunu here has already agreed, that almost 70% of what has been made in Delhi, the pavements, the sprucing up, those plants which are being planted just now, even as we are talking, were not required. So of the 70,000 crores that we are blowing up, almost 35,000 crores are not really required. So why were you doing it? I'm telling you this. We have a confidence deficit as far as this CM is concerned. I would say that this is one CM.
Okay.
We are talking infrastructure deficit, governance deficit. It is not surprising that the same governance deficit shows up in the way we are managing these games. It is not unique. It has become standard operating
Alex Padamsee, we now
security protocol that we are talking about. You see, the point of the approach to security is as lackadaisical as it is with regard to breaking. I am saying the consistency of irresponsibility. China and India, whether we are a democracy or not, project management is a specialized business, project, and you pay for it. So you pay and you get services. I find it highly irresponsible that we will be willing to pay more and in fact the same amount of money and get far less in return.
Okay, I want Alec, various things associated with the Commonwealth Games that will be coming up on Blah this weekend. I strongly suggest that you tune in and watch that. For the moment, Alec Padamsee, Sanjay Kaul, Murad Ali, thank you very much, Mr. Dunu Roy, for joining us. William Dalrymple, thank you very much for your perspective.
This is the TV Today Network, and you are watching Headlines Today.